The NBA is trying to commit suicide. This is the most ridiculous story I've ever heard. They have canceled, despite the fact that their ratings are down 40% because they keep pushing this Black Lives Matter bullshit. They keep pushing it, so their ratings are down 40%, and they decide that the playoffs are a good time to go on strike over social issues that have nothing to do with basketball. So this is in the wake of the Jacob Blake shooting. And according to witnesses, they said so actually let me backtrack. So Jacob Blake had a warrant out for his arrest. He had a warrant out for sexual assault, trespassing, and disorderly conduct. And the police came to a domestic disturbance call, found Jacob Blake there. Now, Jacob Blake's attorneys are saying that he was trying to de-escalate a domestic disturbance dispute, which, of course, his attorneys are going to say that. It's the attorney's job to do everything they can to protect their defendant. So we can't really take their word at face value. But we have witnesses on the scene say that they saw the police wrestle with Jacob Blake. They tried to tase him. That didn't work. And then he walked around to the front of his car, and he was leaning into the front seat of the car. Now, this is somebody who has a warrant out for the arrest for a violent assault. And it's apparently the witness heard them say drop the knife before they started shooting, and a knife was indeed found in the driver's side of the car. So it was a purely justified shooting from what it looks like. It looks like this was absolutely justified. The man had a weapon. He was fighting with the police. They tried non-lethal means to take him down first. That didn't work. He goes around to his car to grab what could be a weapon, and it turned out was a weapon, and he had his kids in the car. I mean, at the very least, if he drives off, the police are going to take chase. So at the very least, that man could have been potentially endangering the kids in a high-speed chase scenario. And so they shot him. But now we have the NBA, and God, I am so sick of LeBron James. Just seeing them. He is the biggest sellout. I mean, he will go all in for Black Lives Matter, but he won't say a damn word about China. So, yeah, cancel LeBron James. If we're gonna live by cancel culture, cancel LeBron James. So, Blazers versus Lakers game five postponed following the Bucks strike. So it started with the Milwaukee Bucks, backing out of their game. And Wednesday night's Game 5 between the Los Angeles Lakers and Portland Trail Blazers has already been postponed. I'm surprised Portland didn't start striking 3 months ago when the riot started. After the Milwaukee Bucks refused to play Game 5 of their first-round series against the Orlando Magic on Wednesday afternoon, the NBA announced all 3 games on the schedule would be postponed. Now, this is in the wake of their ratings already being down almost by half. And they're going to do this during the playoffs. The one chance that they had to actually bring their ratings back up and to reinvigorate interest in their sport. And they go and they cancel it over some political social justice bullshit. So we have here, and it gets even crazier, because we have here from Yahoo Sports. The Players Association in active talks with players about the logistics of potentially boycotting games. This is from Lake Buena Vista, Florida. The NBA Players Association Executive Committee is in active discussions with the players who are seeking guidance on the logistics of potentially boycotting games, league sources told Yahoo Sports. Now, the whole thing is, what does any of this have to do with basketball? You are an athlete. Your job is not to be using your job as a sounding board for your social activism. Do that on your own time. So, it says, an assembly organized by the players who are emotionally traumatized. Are you kidding me? These are grown men. Grown men, and they're emotionally traumatized by something that has nothing to do with their lives. This is histrionics at its most hyperbolic. This is some of the most hyperbolic histrionics ever. And what it does is it makes these people look weak. These NBA players look like pansies doing this. Saying they're emotionally traumatized because somebody got shot by the police when they were assaulting the police, when they were wielding a weapon. They will use any excuse. It's almost like, to these people, if you're black, you should have license to go out and do anything you want and have no repercussions. Because at some point in the history of America, America was bad to black people. okay? I mean, they won't let this go. They won't let the history go. And that is exactly... Well, I'm not going to get into a whole Marxist diatribe or a diatribe on Marxism right now. But, so they're emotionally traumatized by the latest police-involved shooting of an African-American who was captured on video. Was held Tuesday night at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort, sources said. And there were multiple conversations about what actions could be taken throughout the day. How about this? You man up and you do your job because this has nothing to do with you. Players began reaching out to the committee in recent days, sharing that they're not in the right frame of mind to play basketball. You're not in the right frame of mind? So you can't do your job because somebody got shot by the police? This is comical at this point. And this is an absolute representation of the victim mentality where you think that during the height of your glamorous NBA playoffs that you can be so emotionally traumatized that you're not in the mental state to do your job for something that has nothing to do with you personally. We are breeding or raising the weakest generation of people I think this world has ever seen. Take your ass to China, where LeBron James defends, where they are sending Uyghur Muslims to concentration camps in the millions, where they are harvesting the organs of the Falun Gong, where they are absolutely decimating the rights of the people in Hong Kong who are supposed to have 50 years of transition. Yet they want to say that they can't do their jobs because somebody gets shot by the police. Yet they have no problem endorsing a country that literally runs slave camps. They have no problem wearing the jerseys made by slaves. These people are disingenuous. Sources said that there is a sizable... where was I? They're not in the right frame of mind to play basketball. This is laughable. Sources said there is a sizable faction of players who are psychologically distraught by the video of Jacob Blake, a 29-year-old man who was shot in the back multiple times by police in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Sizable fraction that are psychologically distraught. These are mental midgets. We've got mental midgets. We have a culture that is breeding mental midgets. It's absolute weakness. Kenosha, Wisconsin, as he tried to get into his vehicle. He tried to grab a weapon after wrestling the police. You conveniently leave out the details that actually show that the shooting was justified. His family's attorney said 3 of his sons ages 3, 5, and 8 were in the vehicle during the incident. Blake is hospitalized and underwent surgery Tuesday afternoon. And since there have since been protests and unrest in Kenosha, which has led to 2 fatalities. It has led to some of the most violent riots that we have seen to this date. The union's approach is to educate players on the pros and cons of boycotting games, yada, yada, yada. Don't care about that. This is an ongoing dialogue on what more could be done inside the bubble to raise awareness of racial injustice. An ongoing dialogue on what more could be done inside the bubble to raise awareness on racial injustice. As if 3 months of endless rioting and Black Lives Matter leaves anybody unaware of your perceived racial injustice. We're beyond awareness at this point. The discussion should be about, is it warranted? And are we being lied to? Are we getting honest information about these shootings? And also, balancing it out with the fact that it isn't just happening to black people. This happens to people of all races. In an effort to enact change and thwart police brutality towards people of color. If that is your priority, quit your job as a basketball player and go be an activist. Go start an organization. Do whatever you want to do. But if you are going to play basketball, you need to do your job. You have fans that are relying on you, that are counting on you. I mean, at this point, we're locked in our homes for what, 6 months now? Sports are about one of the only getaways that we're supposed to be able to have from all this nonsense, and they are feeding into it. The hearts of players are heavy, with some feeling intense guilt for playing on... The hearts of players are heavy, with some feeling intense guilt for playing, and that they're providing entertainment that is drowning out the injustices that are plaguing this country. We do not need to all be consumed by your perceived injustices at all times. This is that whole concept that if one thing happens, it should be the absolute 100% focus. And you see that all the time from the left. They always talk about Donald Trump is doing this while this is happening. It's like, okay, and? You know, we don't have to dedicate, every time something happens, we don't have to all just drop our lives and go and pursue the cause for you. Oh my God. This is drowning out the injustices that are plaguing this country. Players can request to speak with a counselor in the bubble by setting up an appointment in the league's campus app. But because of confidentiality, it is not known if that resource is being utilized. They are literally creating safe spaces for grown men who make millions upon millions of dollars and are superstars to kids across the country. Let that sink in. We have some of the most privileged people in the world in these basketball players, and they are being coddled into safe spaces like some JUCO freshmen who needs puppies and coloring books because they can't stand opposite opinions. This is pathetic. This is pathetic. All right, let's see, where was I? We shouldn't have even come to this damn place, to be honest, Milwaukee Bucks guard George Hill said. Yes, you should have, because you have a job to do, and you're a man, and you need to do your job. All right. I think just coming here took all the focal points off of what the issues are. Not everything has to be about the issues. They want to coerce everybody into being, drop what you're doing and come fight our fight with us, or for us even. That's not how the world works. Because not most of us can see through the lies, and we are not led by the nose on these issues like these basketball players are, who have all of the resources to know better. Athletes aren't immune to being racially profiled, sources said in a tactic to avoid being pulled. Hold on. Athletes aren't immune to being racially profiled. I'm sure you're being racially profiled in your Bugattis, Maseratis, and whatever else it is you're driving, your Lamborghinis and all that business. Sources said a tactic to avoid being pulled over. A few players have purchased Teslas. What? A few players have purchased Teslas, believing that police wouldn't suspect a black man to be operating that vehicle. What the hell? What world are we living in right now? Black people don't drive Teslas? What? No. And notice how it's a Tesla. It's not a Prius. It's not a Nissan Leaf. It's not any of these other, electric vehicles. Of course, they're buying Teslas because these people are some of the most privileged people in the world. I can't afford a Tesla. Not that I'd necessarily want one. I mean, I guess they're cool in some ways, but I like a combustion engine. But I mean, this is Babylon B level right here. This is Babylon B level satire being brought to real life. They're buying Teslas. I mean, this is ludicrous. Multiple players have stated publicly that kneeling during the anthem and everyone on campus wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts is in the bubble. What is this in the bubble thing? What is this in the bubble? Isn't sending a strong enough message about the seriousness of society's ills. So, we already have people out there burning down, torching cities. What would send a strong enough message? If a strong enough message is not being sent and it's still not being received, maybe you should take that as a message to yourself. Maybe we should send you a stronger message that we know that you're being led by the nose and that you're full of shit. That these rioters are full of shit. That the news is full of shit. Seriousness of society's ills. I mean, this is... 9 black people were killed by the police. 9 unarmed black people were killed by the police in 2019. And that is the seriousness of society's ills, that we need to halt everything in our lives. By the way, 19 white people, unarmed white people, were shot by the police and killed by the police. I mean, this is stupid. This is stupid. These players are spoiled. This is spoiled rotten, and the NBA is placating them. If I was the director of the NBA, I would say you either play or you're done in this league. The pain on campus is real. It's because they're pussies. It's because these are the biggest pussies in the world. Basketball players are pussies at this point. I've never been a basketball fan, but I mean, Jesus. Sack up. I can smell your vaginas through the screen. Before arriving in Orlando, players had intended to meet weekly to strategize on the best ways to make a difference away from home. But the practices, film studies, and the games every day muffled those plans, according to sources. Oh, did you actually have to do your job? Did you actually have to do your job? Oh, boo-hoo. This is what players such as Kyrie Irving, Dwight Howard, and others had feared. It would be nice if, in a perfect world, we all say we're not playing, and the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's going to trickle down, Toronto Raptors guard Fred VanVleet said Thursday. If he steps up to the plate and puts pressure on the district attorney's office, blah, 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 blah. With how passionate the players are on these issues, it's inevitable that something will be done. Really. With how passionate these players are on the issues, it's inevitable something will be done. How powerful do these people think they are? How much influence do they think that they have? I think they should know, after 2016, when every celebrity came out to endorse Hillary Clinton and fawned over her, and they're doing the same thing with Joe Biden, and it's not working. This is arrogance. This is narcissism. This is vanity right here. This is vanity. That they think that because the players are so passionate, that means sweeping change in the country is going to be made. No. Sit down, shut up, and dribble. Just like Laura Ingraham said. Shut up and dribble. You fucking losers. After the Los Angeles Clippers soundly defeated the Dallas Mavericks, I don't care. Okay, so Doc Rivers issued a powerful, teary-eyed plea for police officials to treat black people with the decency they treat every other American citizen. I'm just so sick of hearing this. Doc Rivers is incredibly celebrated. This man has probably not experienced racism. At least not since he was a basketball player. He has probably never experienced anything personally, and he's just buying into the headlines. And he probably doesn't even read the articles. They probably have no idea what's going on. They just know that there's a social message that's pro-black and they want to be part of it. And they will eat any lie that is fed to them. So from Doc Rivers, what stands out to me is just watching the Republican convention, Rivers said as he removed his mask that read vote. They're spewing this fear, right? What? What fear are they spewing? See, this is what you know that they have no idea what they're talking about because they can never speak in specifics. They always speak in these broad, overarching terms where they expect people just to accept it. But then you ask, okay, well, how are they spewing fear? I got a basketball game to play, or not play, or Black Lives Matter. I mean, these people are they're brain dead. This is the psychopathy that our media has caused. This is our media. This is them not telling us what is really going on, not giving us context for anything that is going on that they are reporting on, and then only telling one side of the story. All you hear from Donald Trump and all of them is about, or all of them talking about is fear. No, it's not. I haven't heard them talk about fear once. We're the ones getting killed. Everybody gets killed. People from all races get killed. We're the ones getting shot. Again, repeat myself. We're the ones that are denied to. We're the ones that are denied to live in certain communities. What is this? 1952? Who gets denied to live in certain communities? These people live in some of the wealthiest areas in the country. These people probably don't even see a black person until they go to the basketball courts. They probably live in the whitest neighborhoods in their states. We've been hung. Again, what is this? 1952? We've been shot, and all you do is keep hearing about fear. This is the most nonsensical statement I've ever heard. Doc Rivers, you're a moron. This doesn't even make sense. This is incoherent. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. Okay, I guess there's just a little bit left. It's so, I'm done. I'm done reading about this. But the one thing that I want to talk about, because first we had, we had to deal with this with the NFL. Now it's the NBA. And I could care less about the NBA. The NFL was tough enough. And having to deal with Colin Kaepernick and all of that, it really took all of the enjoyment out of watching a sport that I love to watch every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. But at least I had baseball. Because baseball is my favorite sport, and baseball's old school. Baseball's gritty. Baseball's toughness. Baseball doesn't play this nonsense. Brewers Reds agree not to play Wednesday after Jacob Blake shooting. This has now affected baseball. The one sport that was it's America's pastime. It's the most patriotic sport out there. And even now, they are succumbing to this nonsense. And this is when I just want to say enough. I mean, I've been wanting to say enough for a long damn time. I've been saying enough for a long damn time. But don't you dare take baseball from me. I mean, unless you're a baseball fan, you probably don't fully understand what I'm talking about. But there's a spirit to baseball. And this is absolutely the inverse of that spirit. This goes against everything that baseball stands for. Baseball is about being tough, gritty. It's about being able to have a sense of humor. They're playing a kid's game and they know it and they respect it, and there's a certain reverence to baseball. And seeing this take over baseball is just absolutely breaking my heart. So you know what? I'm done with this video. I'm about done with sports. I'm just praying I never see this bullshit from my Atlanta Braves. Please, Freddie Freeman, don't kneel. Please, Ronald Acuna, just play the game. Anyways, guys, like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Ram Thorburn. And if you're interested in contributing to the channel, there are links to my Subscribestar, Patreon, and PayPal in the description below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Mine's ruined.